Civilization, Book 2 of the Displaced series. Written by Stephen Drake. Narrated by Justin Hyde. 1. The Murdock family watched the pod descend, complete with smoke and fire and roar, as it cut a path through the early morning sky. Murdock, taking his position as guardian seriously, knew he'd have to investigate and act as a liaison between human and Oomah. After it landed, some distance away, Murdock and Mei Li herded the kids into the cave from the overlook. "Are you going to stay here or head to the cabin?" Murdock asked Mei Li. "I'll head for the cabin with the kids," she answered. "Baron is going with you, isn't he?" Murdock could see the concern for him, both by the question as well as her knitted brows and the worried, questioning look on her face. Murdock could read her expressions completely after 3 years together. "Yes, he is. He seems to be curious." Mei Li raised an eyebrow and turned to look at Murdock. "Are you serious? That would be a first." "Not really. He was curious about us when we first arrived," Murdock replied. "I just find it curious that he's curious," Mei Li quipped. They both chuckled a little. "All of you behave and mind your mother," Murdock warned. The children had lined up from eldest to youngest, as was their custom whenever their father left for an extended period of time. He knelt down and kissed their foreheads individually, after which he would look at them as if to burn their images into his memory. The children knew, from long practice, that this ritual was not for their benefit, but for his. Murdock was well aware that there were no guarantees in life. Even though he was well versed in living here, he knew that any accident could be fatal and could befall anyone at any time. He knew it, Mei Li knew it, and the children knew it. When all the children had filed past, Mei Li came over to say her goodbyes. Murdock was still kneeling down, finishing with little Rosalie, when Mei Li came over. He placed his hands on his wife's swollen belly and kissed it gently. As he did, Mei Li smiled and stroked his head gently. As he stood, he picked her up. Her arms slid around his neck with practiced ease as her feet left the floor of the cave. They kissed passionately, as if for the last time. "When were you going to head back to the cabin?" Murdock asked, still holding her close, her feet well off the cave floor. "I do love holding her this way, and she never complains about it," he thought. "I don't know. The kids need to eat first, and we have to pack the cart," she replied, smiling down lovingly at Murdock. "I've done my best to make her happy, and I think I've succeeded as much as anyone could." "Don't overdo it," he said sternly but lovingly. "If they get to be too much, let me know and I'll cut things short if I can," he said, more for the kids' benefit than Mei Li's, as he set her down and started gathering his gear in preparation for leaving. Mei Li had started herding the kids down to the residential area of the cave. As she got them all going down the tunnel, she turned to see Murdock's back as he stepped off the edge of the overlook. It didn't take long for Murdock to levitate down the side of the mountain for the 200 feet to the valley floor. His feet softly touched the ground close to Rose's tomb. He made it a personal ritual to kiss his fingers and then touch them to Rose's tomb, a symbolic kiss for one as beloved as she was. When he finished, he turned and walked toward the grounded transport pod, following the trail that paralleled the stream. As he walked downstream, Baron walked beside him, and this caused Murdock to smile. He hadn't heard his large brown friend come up beside him. It didn't surprise him that Baron just appeared. It was a habit of his. Usually, Murdock could sense when his friend was close by. Of late, though, Baron had taken to just popping up, just as he had in the early days of their relationship. How long had it been? To Murdock, it seemed that Baron had always been his friend, and he had always lived here. 5 years doesn't seem right somehow. It doesn't seem to be long enough.